has been quite the year for monkey movies. And a new one is out now called Monkey Man, Rocket Man, Better Man. It's called Better Man. It's about Robbie Williams and he's played by a monkey. We've all seen the advertising and we've all seen all the hate that's come along with this, mostly about who the hell is Robbie Williams to begin with. Now I figured, hey, it's a musical starring a monkey, I'm going to give this one a shot. And a fair shot. So even though Rock DJ has been absolutely ruined for me by both the advertising and people on TikTok dissecting it and telling me why it's such a bad song, I tried to go into this movie with an open mind. And here's my full review. I don't wanna ride DJ. As I said, this movie is just the story of British pop artist Robbie Williams, and it's quite a bit. It's quite a bit. This movie tries so hard to be edgy and stand out from other musician biopic films, but the way it comes off is just very try-hard, but also by the numbers. The whole monkey gimmick is just that. It's a gimmick. While it looks really good, like the visuals of the monkey are nearly on par with the Planet of the Apes movies that have come out recently, it doesn't add any real substance to the film or the themes of it. The fact that he is a monkey has no effect on the story, and I understand that's just how Robbie Williams says he sees himself, even though that idea came from the director, not from the actual guy. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't go anywhere in the story, except for like one really fun scene that I will get back to. It's just so obvious that the only reason they made that creative choice is to be different from movies like Bohemian Rhapsody. Yet at the end of the day, it's exactly the same as these movies, which is its next big problem. This movie is incredibly rushed. They try to cram a man's entire career and childhood into 2 hours, and because of that, none of the scenes that should have emotional value or weight to them do anything, and key moments are so glossed over. One of the big conflicts in this movie is Robbie Williams' drug addiction, and while the addiction is definitely pretty heavily focused on, the beginning of it is not there. We go from this idealistic kid who's just excited to be in a pop band to, oh no, he's actually doing hard drugs now. There's no bridge. There's no build-up to it. And then later in the movie, it bum rushes through the meeting of his fiancée, their dating, the pregnancy of their firstborn, which is no longer their firstborn because they have an abortion, and all the way to her becoming a #1 charting musician, all within a single musical number. And this extremely devastating moment of them choosing to abort their child for one of their careers has no weight, again, to it, because I didn't even realize what was going on until it had already passed, and there's no time to really sit with that and let it sink in. Now, this movie isn't all bad, and I don't want it to sound like it is, because honestly, I did have a lot of fun with this movie, especially right in the beginning. Visually, the movie is really well done, if I haven't already said that, but also, the real heart of the story is Robbie's relationship with his grandmother, which is really, really well done. It's so beautiful. Every time they were on screen together, I loved the movie. And it's both her character and the character of his dad that are established in the beginning that really sell this as an emotional story when it achieves those emotional beats. And while his grandma was so lovable, his father was equally hateable, in a good way, in the kind of way that you want for a movie. You want a villain to hate. And his dad just nailed this role. It really was those interactions with his dad, especially later in the film, that I can't say I enjoyed them, but I felt sucked into them. That I felt invested in the story. It felt real to me. And I know it is real, but I mean like the forgetting you're in a movie theater kind of thing. You're forgetting that it's a CGI monkey and you're just immersed in this story. But speaking of his dad, as I said, I know it's based on a true story. I know this stuff happened just without the monkey. But the redemption at the end felt so undeserved. It's great for Robbie's character to go around and make amends with everybody, but there wasn't a single moment of I'm sorry that justified this moment to the viewer. As an outside participant in this story, all I could think of is, what the hell? I feel personally betrayed by this inclusion. Now that's all the boring technical storytelling stuff. What we all really came for, other than the monkey, was the music. And does the music work in this? Does the style they were going for as a musical work? No. Unfortunately, it doesn't. The problem is this movie is very indecisive. It's marketed as a musical, and what comes with that is big song and dance numbers, this kind of fantastical visual style, this fantastical world, where everybody kind of forgets reality and bursts out into song and dance. But it doesn't actually deliver on that. There are two movies this reminded me of, and those are Bohemian Rhapsody and Rocketman. These biopics take very different angles in how they present the story of their subjects. Bohemian Rhapsody is a straightforward narrative that incorporates the music of the artists. When the songs come on, it is in a very natural, realistic way. It's in the recording studios, it's in the concert halls, it's in the stadiums. While Rocketman takes a different approach. It takes these hit songs and puts them into these musical Broadway-type settings, these fantasy visual worlds. This is a film about music, and this film is a musical. But Better Man doesn't know which one it wants to be. The first act is a pretty straightforward movie. When the songs come on, they are within the actual real world. Until the end of the first act, when it turns into a musical number. We have the big mobs, we have the large dance number, we have the heightened reality and all that. But after that song, it goes back to reality. And it stays that way until midway through the second act or end of the second act, and it's a musical number again. But it's only these two instances, so it feels very out of place and really takes you out of the movie. It takes you out of the moment. And I remember when I first saw the clip of Rock DJ, I thought, hey, this looks like a ton of fun. If the whole movie is like this, I'm sold, even if the song isn't that good. And then when I started the movie and it was just a straightforward biopic, I was fine with that because it was a well-made biopic. And then Rock DJ comes on, and I'm so confused as to what it's going to be for the rest of the movie. If it's going to flip-flop back and forth, or if it's going to stick to that style now. And then for the big show, right toward the end, it doesn't do either of those. What starts out as a straightforward recapturing of this actual historic moment begins to turn into a musical number, but then changes gear halfway through and decides Monkey Battle Royale. Which brings me into my next point, the Monkey Battle Royale. I loved it. I had so much fun with it. Like, it was so insane and graphic and violent and visually awesome. I want to see a full movie of Buckaroo Banzai but Monkey going against legions of other weird rock metal monkeys. I'm cool with that. I want to watch that movie. But I don't know why it was in this one. It's one of those scenes that is awesome in a vacuum, would be awesome as a short film, but has no real place within this one. And that's the whole movie. It's all these great moments awkwardly mushed together. It flows well enough to work at the end of the day and make a competent film. But it's all these ideas that would have worked so much better if they were fleshed out into their own thing. And although that sounds like a wrap-up, there is one more point I need to make about this movie. Only about half the soundtrack is actually Robbie Williams songs. It's very reliant on songs by other artists, which is a very strange choice for a rock biopic, a pop musician biopic. I mean, the movie is bookended, basically, with My Way by Frank Sinatra. Why? Like, I get it, like, the song he sang at the end of the movie, that concert was a real concert he held, and it's fine in real life, but this is a fictional retelling. This is a narrative. It doesn't work like that. You're not selling me on Robbie Williams and his music if you're using songs by other artists. I don't know Robbie Williams any better now, especially as an American where he never landed. I was really hoping to actually learn something about the guy, to get a better understanding of his music, of him as a person, and I got a better understanding of his drug habit. But I didn't listen to any of the music on the way home from this movie. I even listened to Mean Girls after seeing that one, and I did not like that movie. And yeah, unfortunately I have to agree with TikTok now. Rock DJ is an annoying song. It's not very good. All the pop songs that he sang in this were not good. They were not memorable. The slower songs like Angel, awesome. Great song. I love the slow stuff he did. Robbie Williams is a very talented singer. There's no denying that. but his pop music wasn't it. Now, I feel like I've pretty much only said negative things about this movie, and I don't want it to come off as this was a bad movie or a bad experience. It was a good movie. It was fun. I had a lot of fun with it. I enjoyed seeing the monkey singing on stage. That's the kind of guy I am. You put a monkey in a movie, I'm going to watch it. And even though the music, for much of it, was not his own, and half the stuff that was his wasn't very good, throughout it all, most of the music was good. And it was all, like I said before, a bunch of very entertaining moments squeezed together, awkwardly. What I think would have been a great choice if they really wanted to stand out with this movie, if they wanted to make it something different amid the overflow of musician biopics right now, is to go back to the 80s style of doing it. Like Pink Floyd's The Wall, create a rock opera. This shit's amazing. This style is awesome. And it's not being done anymore. Do this. Do a rock opera. Do that. Make it genuinely fantastical. Just throwing a monkey in there doesn't cut it. If you put a monkey in a movie in place of a person, it has to have some kind of narrative weight. That isn't just a selling point. If you're gonna put a monkey in a movie instead of a person, it has to have some narrative weight that's not just we're trying to sell tickets. That works on me, doesn't work for anybody else. It might work for other people, but it's mostly only gonna work for me. Also make that full feature monkey battle royale movie. I want to watch that. Put him in a necktie. Make it like on Mustafar, Flaming Planet, hordes of other zombie monkeys. He's the last one standing. I'd watch that on repeat. At the end of the day, I give this movie 3 out of 5 stars. It was a fun time. It wasn't a great movie. I'm not being paid to say this. I wish I was, but I'm not. Should you see it in theaters? I don't know. Maybe. If you want a movie theater all yourself. There were only like 2 people when I went there yesterday. Yeah, that's it. Buy my book.